Hey, this is Suns and Roses from Cyber Supply Drop, and today for Resource Wednesday, I want to go over a little bit of web application enumeration, some directory busting, and a little bit of light fuzzing. Looking at the stats for hygiene, I see that people get to a certain point and they kind of don't make it beyond that section. So I've also received some DMs asking about some of the other questions related to the web app. So stay tuned and I'll show you some really cool stuff. As we recall, last week we did a full port scan on the target IP address. For me, it's this local IP address because I'm hosting in a virtual machine player. But we did a full port scan with TAC-A. We took a look at the FTP server. We looked at SSH after checking out the SMB server, and we kind of put some, two and two together here and there. We're able to gain access through SSH. One thing that I wanted to really point out in this video was web application stuff, as far as enumerating web applications and doing some light fuzzing, and how some of the tools that are out there can do a really good job at finding some stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to the web application IP address, and we have :3598, so we can get to it. And here we are at the website. This is the default landing page, index.html for Tomcat 9. We know it's Tomcat 9 because, right here it says what it is. And that's kind of useful information. If this was like a different version of Tomcat or something, then we could definitely do some research and maybe look for some CVEs that are out there that exist for this. But another thing I want to point out is that I have the Swapalizer tool here. It's pretty useful. There's no technologies on this web application. I basically just kind of stood up the server and, created some directories to demonstrate some points. So, but usually you can find interesting things like PHP, if there's some kind of database technology or JavaScript or anything like that. So, but usually even when I get to these web pages, I like to view the page source here. And that's because you can sometimes find comments, right? For this, we don't have any comments. It's the basic page. That's okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing some enumeration here. So my personal favorite is Pharaohbuster. It works similarly to GoBuster, but it runs on Rust, so it's a little bit it's pretty fast. You can run some crazy amount of threads and really test the limits of a web application. So TAC-U followed by the HTTP web address, and then TAC-W is for the word list. And as we know, I'm lazy, and I do not remember where anything is, so I use locate to find stuff constantly. And my one of my favorite directory lists is this one right here. So I'm going to double click that, copy it, then paste it right here. And this is what this is going to do is it's going to enumerate directories, and I'm going to hit enter there, and instantly we can see we found some cool stuff. Images, admin, admin assets, and here we have secret, right? So there's definitely some really cool directories already that seem interesting. And for the interest of time, I'm just going to stop this here. And then I'm going to press up, get the same thing. The only difference is I'm going to do attack X. What this does is it looks for files. We know we're not using any technologies here, so there's no PHP to be found or anything like that. But looking for text files can be useful. Another type of file that you could look for is log or back or old. And that'll potentially find information in old files that are stored there that maybe you can't access just by navigating straight to the directory through the web browser. So I'm going to just keep text and HTML because I know those are the two type of files that I'm probably going to be looking for here, especially since I kind of only put those files in there. But this is mostly for demonstrational purposes, and I think is very useful to demonstrate. Now here, I'm going to go ahead and type secret because that's the directory that I'm interested in. We'll check the other directories out later, but for right now, I want to look at secret. So let's see what's going on with secret here. And it should only take like a few seconds to get something, if I remember correctly. I may stop the video until I get something because I don't want to, have you sitting here just watching these numbers tick up. So, okay, so I was watching as this was going up, and we found a fuzz.txt. See if I can find it here in this long list of stuff. There it is, right here, fuzz.txt. So I can right click this and open the link. And here it is. Fuzzing directories is fun. I mean, I didn't get very creative with this, but it does demonstrate the point that if you follow directories, you can definitely find some pretty cool stuff. And those seems something I missed it very quickly found index1.html. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to open the link up here. And here we have it. Another copy of the landing page. It says if you're viewing this page through the web browser, it means you've successfully found the hidden HTML buried in directories. Congratulations. When looking through our website, try to enumerate as many directories as you can and fuzz for different file types. You may find something that contains fruitful information. Now, as I said, every time I hit an HTML page or I'm meeting an HTML or PHP page for the first time, I like to view the page source. And, that's because there could be interesting things like here. I very eloquently put, look for comments like this in the code. Sometimes devs can leave useful information in the source code because, sometimes they just put stuff there. They don't expect people to look there. A little bit of poor security hygiene. Another thing I'd like to point out is that we have this image here, okay, and we see the image source / images, and then this crazy string here, which, I mean, let's be fair, I don't necessarily think a word list is going to find that. So let's do some cool stuff here. We're going to take the source here out, and then we're going to go all the way to the end. And I'm just going to remove stunsandroses.png. And I'm going to copy this here. And I'm going to come over here to my terminal. I'm going to stop this here. And we'll clear this out. And then I'm going to get rid of all this here. What we have, oops, let me get rid of the whole thing. What we have here is an additional directory that we can fuzz that may be a little more difficult to find. So we're going to try to do some directory busting. We're going to look for some of these file extensions here and see if we can find anything cool and interesting. And it looks like we found secret.txt. So I'm going to go ahead and open this link here. And then right here, you can find other file types and directories from image sources, which is true. You can find the same thing, especially if there's like a PDF form or something like that embedded somewhere on a web application, and it's in a directory you don't have access to, but you have access to that file. You can use that to your advantage, and you can do cool things like use an EXIF tool and find out the creator of the file and kind of generate a username list that way, or any other cool stuff like that. What I do have here, though, is I have this file here. I'm going to open up a terminal here. I'm going to cd to my desktop. If I can spell it right. Clear that out. Check here. Firefox, hygiene. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to wget. Let me come back here. And let me just reload this page so I can get the image here. wget that. And we'll do a quick ls to see if we have it. And this is a .png. Um, Now, there's other tools out there like StegHide for JPEGs and stuff like that, but you can do a bin walk on files, and you can see if there's anything inside there. Now, this one in particular doesn't have anything interesting inside of it. I haven't put anything there, but yeah. Anytime you find an information, or excuse me, an image or a file type, um, you can do some cool stuff to find out things about it. You can find out potential creators or authors or whatever, find out the file permissions, all kinds of cool stuff. And you can do that um, to get as much information about your target as possible. And that's very, very useful stuff. So here we were able to find this super secret directory by doing some directory busting and, looking for file extensions and stuff. We were able to look at the image source here and gain access to a web directory that we didn't know existed, that our Pharaoh Buster was unable to find. And then we took a look at the file to see what was there. We used binwalk and exif tool to see if we can get any additional information. So I think some of these techniques and some of the techniques I mentioned in this video should be able to help anytime that you're interacting with a web application for finding just any information that you can. And as I said, viewing page source is important because it tells you information. It tells you, potentially plugin data versions or WordPress versions in comments. Sometimes devs leave comments. Sometimes there's image sources for directories you don't even know exist that you can follow. So there's a lot of information that you can have, that you can find in these source codes, and it's worth your time to look at each and every one that you come across. All right, so that was a short little video on some web application enumeration, some directory buzzing, light fuzzing. We didn't go into like any crazy fuzzing with a tool like wfuzz or anything like that, or using fuff, but being able to find files and file types while you're directory busting can be very useful. And if you find cool and interesting file extensions, you can then move on to using a fuzzing word list to try to look for more interesting files in those locations. Hopefully this video has helped you out. Hopefully you learned something from it, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you for watching.